It's estimated that there are 13 million incomplete building projects in China. If you're invested in gold and silver, even a general investor needs to hear about what is going on right now in China. It is very, very important, and it's very, very scary. When you pull the covers back and look at what's going on in the Chinese real estate market and general economy, there's reason for severe concern. There's a reason why many of the world's top economic gurus are warning that we could see severe economic collapse in China, and that will impact the rest of the world. That will impact silver and gold. That will impact the general markets. We need to look at this on a deeper level. I'm going to do that with you. Let's get started right now. If you thought your country was screwed up, trust me, you can't hold a candle to what's going on right now in China. There's two main drivers of this concern. Number one, their general economy. Number two, their real estate market. And the real estate market, real estate bubble, real estate crisis, like has never occurred throughout the world, is probably the stronger of the two factors. You have to understand that over the last 10, 20 years in China, there was a ton of economic growth. There was even more of a ton of growth in the real estate sector. Their real estate wealth in China is worth almost $7 trillion. It makes up almost 70% of the wealth of the Chinese people. But people got crazy in China, especially over the last 5 years. It became a bubble, a mania, where people were buying several apartments, several houses, because real estate only went up and up and up, and it did it at a very fast pace. But because of all that activity, some unsavory business practices emerged, and some prices that are just plain astonishing occurred. Let's hope we don't have a housing crisis like they are having in China. But if we do, don't forget, you are always welcome here in Ron's Basement. I appreciate that you've decided to spend a little of your precious time right now with me here in the basement. Know that you are always welcome and you are important. If you enjoy my content, please subscribe to my channel, give the video a thumbs up, turn on the bell notifications, leave a comment in the comment section below. We want to hear from you. We want to get to know you and to learn from you. And don't forget, you can share this video with anyone you like. And the way real estate was sold and developed played into this bubble being created. In China, everything was sold on a pre-sale basis, meaning if you wanted to get yourself a new apartment or a new house, you had to go in and put a big deposit down before ground was even broken for the building that your apartment would be in. And then you needed to start making mortgage payments right off the bat. It's a little more complicated than this, but essentially what happened was builders were incentivized to start as many projects as possible, because then they could collect all these deposits up front from the buyers. They would start all these projects, and then they would go to the banks and get loans to start building the projects, but they wouldn't necessarily be incentivized to end the projects, to complete the project. So there's all these buildings that are started and not being completed in China, and there's a ton of corruption within the builders, and there's a ton of bankruptcies now and insolvencies with these major builders in China who started all these projects so they could collect all this deposit money, but never had any incentive to actually end the projects. So what's happened is the banks that did loan money to these builders they are in big trouble because the builders are now bankrupt essentially and can't pay the bank back. And the Chinese people have wised up to this and want their money, their other deposits, just their bank deposits, out of the banks. They are staging mass protest. Banks are like freezing assets. It's a huge, huge mess. The way I understand it is like this. If we were average Chinese people, we may have given a builder a big deposit, right, to start building the building that our apartment would be in. Now we find out that that building's not going to be completed, and to make matters worse, that builder may have borrowed money from the bank where we keep our other funds deposited, and now our bank is in trouble. So we can't get our money out of our bank, and we can't get our deposit back from our builder. That explains the pictures and videos you see of average Chinese people protesting at these building sites with these builders and protesting at the bank. Not to mention all the suppliers to the builders who are likely out of luck as well in terms of ever being able to collect the money they are owed from the builders. A lot of people are calling this a giant Ponzi scheme, where these builders were taking this deposit money, using a little bit of it to start a project, but then taking more deposit money from other people that they would maybe try to use that to finish older projects, and finally it all caught up with them. It's estimated that there are 13 million incomplete building projects in China. And why do we care? Well, because China's economy is one of the largest in the world and up till now had been one of the fastest growing. If it collapses, it will have major ramifications throughout the world, including the United States of America, where we import 20% of our goods from China. But what about gold and silver? How could that be impacted by a potential collapse or even what's already going on in China? Well, China is traditionally a huge, huge buyer of gold, their population and their government. If their economy continues to shrink or possibly collapse, that will decrease the demand for gold. Silver as well, but if you add another factor on top of that, silver's industrial uses in China are significant. If their economy shrinks and shrinks and shrinks further, that will decrease the industrial demand for silver. Not a good thing. And to add insult to injury on top of the real estate fiasco they have going on in China, their general economy is struggling as well, mostly a result of a super strict pandemic type policy in the country. They've shut big parts of the country down over and over with the zero tolerance issue. That has caused major, major ramifications within the general economy within China. The China situation could create a very scary scenario for gold, for silver, for the general markets, for the world economy. It's definitely something that we need to keep a close eye on, and we'll do just that from here in Ron's Basement, where you are always welcome. I'll look forward to seeing you next time. Be well.